Hello and welcome to Arcadia FYI. I am so glad that you're here, and I just want to say thank you so much for making this a success. I am so happy with the city of Arcadia and just the community that we have here. I do want to say, please be patient with me with the emails and the Facebook messages of your suggestions, your concerns, some events happening here and outside of the city of Arcadia. Thank you. I am getting to those, okay? Just be patient with me. I mean, I'm only one little person. I am getting to them. You will hear from me. All right, I would like to thank our sponsors, Longo Toyota Lexus in El Monte. Now, you know I'm going to say it. You got to go by and check it out. Say hi to Brooke and Mike. I mean, I think they have 100 acres, I think. I think it's a huge lot of all these cars. And they do more than just sell cars. You just got to go check it out. Star 7 Financial with Francine Chu. I think she's one of the greatest financial advisors in education and for kids. We'll kind of touch on that a little bit. The Santa Anita Park. In fact, I can almost see the horses running out on the track right here, right down a little bit, around the corner. But Pete's going to be in and talking about the things that are happening at the Santa Anita Park. A lot of great things going on. I'm pretty sure you heard some of it. Wait until you hear it from the horse's mouth. Yes, pun intended. The Le Meridien Hotel in Arcadia and Pasadena here. Arcadia, Pasadena. Someone was asking me, you keep talking about you're going to have the Le Meridien on. I know. She was supposed to be on a couple of weeks ago, but she'll be on next week. Okay, last week we had MJ. I hope you had some great information on how to grow your business online. Okay, how many of you are parents out there? Okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, a lot of you. How many of your kids, how many of the parents of the kids are in the Arcadia School District? Okay, 1, 2, a lot. Okay, you're going to like this show. Because in studio, I have the superintendent of the Arcadia Unified School District to talk about schools, education, and if you're on YouTube, you can already see him talk about kids and get to know Dr. David Vannasdall.
Yes.
Did I say your name right?
You nailed it.
I was practicing all day and last night, so I just wanted to make sure. Welcome to Arcadia FYI.
Christine, I've been admiring your work for a long time and appreciate the work that you do for the chamber. And so it's just awesome to be here in your studio.
That's very humbling because what you do for the kids in this huge, not a huge school district, but a very successful school district. Okay, let's get to know you just a little bit here. Now, I know you weren't born in Arcadia, or here. You were where?
Midwest, Cincinnati, the Kentucky side of the Ohio River. But I always say Cincinnati because people know where Cincinnati is, but kind of along northern Kentucky.
Northern Kentucky. So were you born in Ohio
I was born in Missouri, and then we moved around middle school to Kentucky.
Okay, so you were born in Missouri. Is it Missouri or Missouri?
We said Missouri, but it depends on where you're from in the state.
I know. So people correct me. It's Missouri, Christine.
I know.
Okay. So, all right. So then you were born in Missouri, but did you go to school in Ohio?
I went to, University of Kentucky for college, and then I did work in Cincinnati, Ohio, before coming out to California.
Okay, so who's your football team?
I'm married to a Penn State grad.
Oh, okay.
My dog's name is Nittany.
Oh.
The Nittany Lions.
Yes.
So here's the deal. She gets football season because that's their sport. I get basketball season because I bleed blue, University of Kentucky. So that's how we keep peace at our house.
I happen to, Kentucky did really good.
They did.
They do very well. The college in the college
football. They weren't as good when I was attending back in the day. And football and basketball, they've always been.
Yeah, they've always been good. Okay, so football. All right. So now that you're in LA, are you a Dodger fan? I'm just going to test you now because if not, we're going to end the show.
I am a Dodger fan now. I am a Dodger fan. Although I'm holding on to the Bengals for footballs.
Oh, okay.
Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know why. It's tough having relationship with the Bengals. They let you down every year.
I know.
I have hope.
I know.
But the Dodgers, it's just fun. Everyone in my office is a Dodger fan, and the game's on in the lounge.
Did you play sports growing up?
I did. I played soccer.
Oh, really?
Soccer is my sport, and my son right now is in club soccer, and that's where I am on weekends. I'm at the fields for the club soccer tournaments and driving all over. So
Oh, okay. So you already mentioned you're married. How many kids do you have?
I have 5 kids. So
Five
I
kids.
have 3 adult children that I raised all the way up, divorced, remarried, and decided, let's do this again and raise kids again. And it has been the best blessing in my life. And, once I was at Arcadia, I was single and got involved in the bowling league. I don't know if people know, but the staff in Arcadia District have a bowling league, and it's everyone, like different teams from different schools, elementary, middle, high, maintenance department folks, painting, you name it. And I got involved just to kind of get out of the house. I was principal of Arcadia High and, working night and day. And didn't expect to, but met my now wife, who was a teacher at Camino Grove. And back then, there wasn't a lot of crossover between an elementary and a high school, so, I didn't get to see her. And she'll want me to tell everyone, she was in the district first.
Okay.
She's always like, you make sure people know that. And then, got married and decided that, well, she talked me into a dog. First, and eased me in, and won, and then that's God's humor to have twins, right?
Yeah,
so,
well, of course, yeah.
But it's been an incredible blessing. They're in 7th grade.
Oh,
my
wow.
twins.
Yeah, I was going to say you have twins. I saw that.
First Avenue, and just having a blast. The biggest perk of my job is that my kids get to attend Arcadia schools because they just do an incredible job. We're so fortunate.
Yeah, that's great, man. I just want to keep talking about who you are. Well, let's talk about how now you've transitioned into education. Where'd you gain that or gather that passion for a higher education for children?
Yeah, I'd always been involved in volunteerism when I was younger, and coaching even at a young age. I loved watching and being a part of people become the best version of themselves, and in different areas. And I wasn't sure. I was one of those folks that when I went to college, I didn't have that clear path. So many of our Arcadia High students have this, laser focus on this is what I want to do. I wasn't that fortunate. Went to the University of Kentucky, was interested in psychology and counseling and those types of things. Was confused, and by junior year, where you really have to kind of focus in, I went to the counseling office, and they give you all those tests to help you understand who you are.
Yeah.
And they sat down with me and they said, you're either going to be a priest or an educator or a teacher.
Wow, that's
I know, right?
Priest, education.
Nowadays kids have so many things to pick from. Back then it was very, it was like
that's
doctor,
true.
a lot, And I was like, the teacher thing. And the guy said, I actually know someone in the education department. Let me call them. You can go talk to them. And I met, and it was like this instant, these are my people. As soon as I kind of got into the College of Education, I was like, this is what I want to do. So went through the route of I was a history teacher, 7th grade, when I started my career.
7th grade, junior high,
Loved the middle school and the rapid hormones.
Yeah.
Kids are, they're on top of the world in the morning, and by lunch, the world's going down and they're crying. Right? But I love that. I love that.
Oh, yes, my junior high school. Okay, let's move on.
And then it went from that to seeing that I'm really into the whole child, and I was focused as much on the kids' whole development as I was history. So that put me into counseling, and then I got a degree in counseling. I then went the route of I was a therapist. I had my own private practice.
Is that how you got your doctorate?
No, I got my doctorate once I got out here
in
leadership. But I got a master's degree in counseling as well.
Oh, okay.
And did that, but I found that very isolating. And I applaud people that can do that, but to sit and meet with, 5-6 clients a day and take on a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a lot of interaction. I was like, I need more, and I need a lot of, collaboration with adults and different things. So I went back into the education field, but stayed in the counseling area. And then saw like, hey, I'm very involved in administration as well. I can make a greater impact in that way, and got another master's in leadership.
Okay, well, how many masters do you have?
I know, right? I'm a bachelor's from UK. I got a master's from Xavier University in community and school counseling, and then a master's degree from the University of Cincinnati in urban leadership. And then once I was out here, I got my doctorate degree in education. So yeah, a lot of schooling.
A lot of
I
schooling.
owe a lot of money to a lot of people.
I bet. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah,
The,
but just to end that, I was very, leading the largest high school and successful high school in the state of Ohio at the age of 30. I was very fortunate that a lot of people saw my potential and gave me opportunities that they probably shouldn't have done. I was way too young, and loving that job, and kind of had everything, picket fence, 3 kids back in Ohio, Kentucky, and my son got involved in theater and drama, and made the Broadway show of Oliver at age 10.
Oh, wow.
So I say all that because I had everything.
Broadway in New York?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never saw California coming, but all of a sudden he had this opportunity, and they were traveling, the whole family, all over the country, because then it went on the road, the traveling Broadway shows that, go to
Do you know
each
every
city.
song from Oliver now?
Oh, I can't. I'm not going to sing. They didn't get that talent from me. Okay. That was their mom's side. But I have the whole show memorized, obviously. And then it was the iconic, go west, young man, chase your dream story that so many Californians have, and we just sold everything, and I left my job that I loved and just came out to California, to LA, and just said, we're going to start over so I can support him in TV and movies. And
right. Is he still acting today?
He's not. He went to college, took a break. He did a lot, he did some Disney and things, Drake and Josh show back in the day. There's a lot of things. And he then promised me he would go to college. And he did. And then after college, he decided just to go music. So all 3 of my adult children are musicians and successful and enjoying those
very
careers.
Talented.
Yeah, and enjoying
very
that.
talented kids.
And so here I am. But if someone had told me how beautiful it was, I would have come earlier to LA. Once I got out here, I'm like, oh my gosh.
It is nice. It's sunny. I don't like the humidity at times during the summer, but other than that, California is a beautiful state. And then there's a lot of little pockets that are hidden that are just beautiful. Okay, so now let's talk about being a superintendent of this school district. Okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, the closest thing I can compare to a CEO of a corporation, right? You just have so many moving parts. We're probably the largest employer in the city. We have over 2,000 staff and over 9,000 students, and that comes with families and parents.
Did you hear that? 9,000. 9,000 students.
It scares me if I think about it, right?
I can't even.
It's a lot of responsibility, but I get to work with an incredible team, and so my job really is to build a team around myself that kind of takes care of the 360 of our organization. And people think of school and education as the classroom, and that is why we're there, for that magic that takes place in the classroom, that teaching and learning. But we serve over 6,000 meals a day. We have our transportation department, our maintenance department. We're basically running a city. And so, I surround myself, my executive team that I call them. I have, our business services. That's all of, payroll and finance and all of our maintenance and facilities. And then I have our HR department, my assistant soup. I have my ed services superintendent. Ryan Ferran, my communications, and then my chief technology and innovation. So the 6 of us are basically the team. Those 5 carry out all the work, and then of course they have departments and staff.
Now you have a board too, right?
I do. So I work for an elected board. So our school board, just like a city council, is elected
it's
by
elected.
our community.
And yours is not, though. Yours is.
My position is hired by the board.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm the only position that's hired by the board. And then
I see. Okay.
have the authority to
see. I'm
hire
learning something.
and run
I'm in school.
Run the district. So, yeah, it's a lot of people really don't understand how it works and what the role of the school board and even the separation between the school and the city. There's always a lot of confusion on that. So, so I work directly with the board. And the board sets the vision, sets the policy, approves all expenditures, the budget.
Okay.
So, my staff, myself, we bring all that to the board for approval, but we do the work and bring the recommendations to the board, and they're the oversight and set the direction.
I see. And so I guess now that I'm learning this, who comes up with all the curriculum and the skill sets to get our kids ready for the future.
Yeah, we have incredible team ed services. So we have curriculum directors, Dr. Forsey, who is the assistant superintendent for ed services. They collaborate with people in the greater San Gabriel Valley area. We have a lot of support from the state, from the county. There's state guidelines, on curriculum, textbooks.
Because you're public.
We are.
Public, it's different from private.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being, I don't want to say controlled. You're not controlled by the state, but there is guidelines with the state. Is that right?
Controlled is a good word.
Yeah, it's okay. So it is a good word. Okay.
They like to say we have local control, but every time you get money, it's like any government money. There's a lot of bureaucracy and strings. If you're going to take the money, these are the things you have to follow.
But
oversight. We'll use
right.
that.
Let's talk about that with the control of the government, and then you have parents. How do you balance the control of the state with parents that disagree with it?
Yeah, that is what's playing out in boardrooms right now across the state, and sometimes very toxic where there's disagreements.
Yeah.
Where we've been successful in Arcadia is we really believe and lean into a lot of choice for our students and our parents. So, for example, the state will come down and say there's a new course that every child's going to take, and like ethnic studies. So that's one that became very was a hot button for a lot of districts, right? And they'll recommend here is a recommended curriculum for that, but there's other ways that you can fulfill this requirement, right? We don't take the easy road and just we'll take what they say and say every kid now you have to take that. We're very thoughtful, strategic. We look at what they're recommending. We follow the law, so we know we're going to have to implement this. But we look at how many different ways would it meet our students' needs and our families, right? Right now we're talking about the Apache designation, and that's something that also the state is weighing in on. But because of our relationship with the White Mountain Apaches, we were like, there's a chance also to include a lot of history of the Apache people because we have this relationship. So we could offer a course that meets that requirement because it's really about diversity and students learning about other people. And so, we brought forward like 8 different courses to meet that requirement. So how that gets back to parents being upset, we don't force parents into having to their child has to take this one class that they don't agree with, right? We provide choices.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
It's our way of kind of navigating. There are things we have to do, but we also respect parents' rights, and we want to give them an option and a path that they feel okay with. So that's been successful.
So overseeing the district, you do elementary, junior high, high school. Okay, so here's a broad. How do you approach the differences in leadership for each of those different levels of education?
Well, really, because my position is more on the 40,000-foot level of ensuring that as a unified school district, we operate as one organization. So first, I would say that it's the same across the board because it's about culture. It's about how do we genuinely believe education is servicing our community, and the why do we exist, and how do we approach the day-to-day activities of student learning. And so in Arcadia, we've worked really hard over the years to ensure that when you hear a elementary principal or a teacher talk about the district and their role, it should sound very much the same as a high school because we all serve the same kids. We each have 1/12th or 13th if they go to K, and TK 1/14th. So we're all working together, and it just scaffolds and builds on each other, right? So that that student, when they go from kindergarten to first, it should feel the same. Same language. We're just growing,
even
building.
though they're scared to death.
Yeah, but then it should also feel the same between elementary and middle to high, because we're all the same district, right? And so creating programs like character ed programs that all the schools have, not just one school has this character ed and this one. So we use Leader in Me. It was developed by Covey, and a lot of us were fans of Covey in the day. or still are. So we work hard to do things where our students and our teachers really see themselves as just part of this entire system. So no one works in isolation. In fact, the work's just way too hard anymore to do yourself.
So teachers really, they support each other because
do.
When I hang out with teachers. I'll say my life group with my church. Almost all the girls in there, the ladies, are teachers.
Yeah.
And to see them support each other, it's a really beautiful thing to see when it comes to teachers. And with unity among the teachers, that has to be some type of backbone.
It is
to making the success.
We have a theme each year. First of all, we created these values that we have on the wall, and like empathy and learn from failure. Learn from failure was the big one that people said, we're Arcadia, we can't put the word failure on our wall, right? It's like, no, we really do, because people feel uncomfortable with that. That's why we have to do it, because failure is the way people grow and the way people learn.
Fail forward.
Right?
It took me a long time to embrace that,
I know. It comes with an experience. But so we kind of live by the same set of values, and then we create themes every year that we all rally behind. And if I can share real quick, this year it's Imagine, Inquire, Inspire, which is our tagline that we've been using for 8 years. So it's not new. But we are in the process this year of talking about what is life going to look like in 15 years. So we really want to vision and engage with the business community, our parents, our students, and talk about, with AI, being integrated, what are the jobs that are going to be out there, and then start asking the tough questions. Are we providing the needs and experiences that our students are going to need when they graduate? Not right now, but we're teaching kids in preschool right now that are going to not be out for 13, 14 years.
That is great. That gives me chills. That is really...
So the Imagine, Inquire, Inspire is really to kind of get people the imagine, right?
Yeah,
Think outside, not today, because the world's going to be so different in 15 years. So what should we be thinking about? We have such a smart community, right? I mean, people in different fields and jobs that, help us and give us input. And then, the Inquire is really asking the tough questions. Okay, everyone wants everything. How does it fit into what we do and not, negatively impact what is working? And so you really have to be thoughtful. And then ultimately, what will inspire, like something that we can, like our North Star, right? What can we point to and say, like, wow, this is where we're going, and if we can hit this, all of our kids are going to be super successful in 15 years out.
I think what's scary too, and what do you think, that with the future holds, AI seems so singular. But people don't see the broad picture of artificial intelligence. There's a lot of options that you could choose from as we grow into this new technology and into a new future. Yeah. Is that something?
Yeah, we know it's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it's something that you can't ignore. Students need to be learning how to use it as a tool, how to master it. We also know that powerful tools can be used for negative things.
Yes.
If you look back in history, that's easy to see. Yeah. So, that's where also becoming just a good citizen and understanding, responsibilities and morals and all of those things come in. That's that whole child kind of education. So, when you start to partner those two, but honestly, right now, it's like drinking from a fire hose with AI, right? Like, we're just getting so much information, and there's every app now is using it, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be lying if I said that, I have a grip on this and I know where this is going. We're watching it. We recognize we got to begin to implement it as a tool for teachers, for students. But it's interesting kind of watching right now, where is it going to go? Like, and how soon will it impact, our daily lives?
The Arcadia School District, people from everywhere try to get an apartment. They will live in a tent to have their kids go to the Arcadia School District. Why is that, Dr. David? I mean, what is it about the education, about the schools here in Arcadia, that people want their children to attend?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do their homework. So I think it starts for most people, Google searching and all of that, right? And it's excellence, and what does that mean for different people? And there's excellence across the board. what I like to explain, and it's hard to just narrow down because we're a living organism, right? Everything you touch, you pull a string at here, it impacts over here. So it's very delicate and fragile, but it's the rich tradition and history that we have. And it boils down to stability and consistency and playing the long road. We in Arcadia, we don't go off on these left turns all of a sudden. And that has to do with stability and longevity of the school board members, right? They serve for many, many years. They were PTA parents. They understand who we are. They don't come on the board and like, I know someone that has this company and we should use this new reading program, We have fundamental, reading programs in our elementary we've been using for over 30 years. Why? Because they work.
Yeah.
And we know they work. So we don't take the newest, silver bullet that someone's selling and say, you should do this. We grow each year. We innovate each year. But each year grows on last year. We don't leave that. And so when you have a steady board, you have a steady superintendent. It's my 20th year.
I was
right?
going to get to that. Wow.
I'm invested here. My kids are here, right? Like I'm making decisions that I'm going to have to live with, that my kids will have to live with. I'm not just here to get a paycheck for 3 years and get my resume builder and move on, right? But that's not the norm.
Well, we're not going to let you lead, Dr. David. I'm sorry.
And then when the superintendent's steady, you have the executive team that's been here 8 years. My team has not, it's been the same. And then you have teachers that are not going to leave. So when you put all that together, people aren't able to really identify it, but what we have is something that's slowly been building 50 plus years, and it just keeps getting better every year. But it's fragile because, that stability starts at the top with the board. They're elected. And, we've been fortunate that those 5 people don't run for board because, they want to build a name and run for something else. They just want to give back to the system.
Yeah, I see some of the board members at the supermarket. The president or the...
Lee Chavez right now is our president, yes.
Oh, Lee, we'll see each other at Ralph's.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Her and I will try and go early Saturday morning so we don't see anybody. And we're like, my hair's not, and then there she is. It's so funny. I mean, she is just, I love Lee. She's really.
And our board members aren't paid. These aren't paid positions. And they're at everything.
Everything, and they're happy. Okay, so I'm going to say this. The only way that I was a high school teacher for, I taught in the ROP program.
Oh, I did not know that.
I loved it. I did it for like 6 years, and I got my teaching credentials at the University of San Diego, and I loved it. I love kids. I love when you call them teenagers, I say, no, they're young adults, okay, they're teens aging, but they're just, like you said, what I've learned being a high school teacher, they like to absorb information. They just want to be taught. Yeah. I mean, of course they're wild. We were always wild. But what I love about the Arcadia High School District is one thing that you touch on is consistency. It works. And I'm going to compare it to In-N-Out Burger, whether you like it or not. I mean, their menu is the same.
It's a great example.
And it is, when you go there, you expect
what you're
going to get. And the same thing with the Arcadia High School District or the Arcadia School District. Yeah. There is consistency in the education. And when students graduate, whether it be from elementary to junior high to high school, and especially from high school into our future, they are well prepared and skilled.
Yes.
And that is, and I'm not just saying that, I mean, that's what I have learned. And it's, and I don't, gosh, Dr. David.
I'll touch on that culture real quick because so many people, and I like to emphasize this because people will talk about the academic excellence, and it's there. Right? And what you just said, we have evidence across the board for that. When our kids come back from college after going in their freshman year, the feedback is always across. No matter what level of student you were at Arcadia High, I was very prepared, and usually they're surprised at how unprepared their roommates from other places are.
Well, you give them a chance.
But the culture is also kids have a place to belong in Arcadia. And it is truly a home, and it's a special place. And I have to share this story because it moved me. A couple years ago, we had a librarian, And she shared with me this story that she had a student. I went in one day, and there was a girl in one of the aisles, and she was on sitting down and some tears. And I was like, what's going on? She told me the story that she had come in one day and was crying. And she didn't know, it's like, do you say something? Do you not? She went over, she sat down with her and just said, are you okay? Is there anything? And then she shared that her father had just died. I get emotional sharing this, and that, and so the librarian just, it's like there's no words you can say in that moment. It's like, that's going to make everything okay. She said, do you mind telling me about your father? Just, like, what? Tell
oh my
me
gosh,
about
you're going to make me cry.
She went on and on, just, really opening up about him and the special things he did, his hobbies and different things. And she thanked her, and she left. The librarian spent the next week making a collection of books that resemble a lot of the hobbies and the different things, traits that she shared about her father. And she made a little row of books in the library. And the next time that girl came in, she said, hey, I made this for you. If you're having a bad day, just come in here and you can kind of sit and see it as a space to just, be with your father. And the girl does, and she did. And she spent a lot of that year coming in there. They were tears of joy, at that point. They were tears of remembrance and whatever. But you don't see that. Like nowhere, when you do your research for Arcadia schools and the academic excellence, and people spend a lot of money and they come here.
Yeah.
That's what they see. But I always want to share that other side is that's what you get. Like you get a place to belong, and people care deeply. Our staff care deeply. We get to recruit the very best educators because of our reputation. People want to come here. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what I want for my child,
Well, yeah, especially because I can think back in my years with school teachers that really came alongside me and helped me in just negotiating life,
right.
Especially when you lose a parent. That has to be tough. There's so many things, but there's two questions I wanted to ask you. One for the parents and then one for the students. And plus, real fast, with you having your master's in counseling, I bet you do a lot of emotional. Okay,
actually, it's all the counseling, because I don't have a lot of answers all the time, right? But you can be with people, and you can walk with them. So it is what I do.
And sometimes no voice is a good voice.
No.
And so so parents.
Yeah.
How can parents prepare themselves and their children for, let's say, the first day of school? Not just practically, well, maybe practically and emotionally.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? I mean, are you on, I'm asking you to put on your little counseling hat here.
The first day of school, we see this a lot, It is just so natural. We have the criers, the kids, and I'm talking about the parents, right? Not the kids. And it's just such a natural, it's time. It's the natural new chapter in a kid's life, right? And then the parents have had them in their home under their protection for all these years, and it's just going to happen. The best thing I can prepare parents is that to remind them that this is what you've been preparing them for, right? As parents, we're giving them these skills. We're trying to make them more and more independent, from birth all the way, through. And they're going to be okay. And they're going to be a little uncomfortable. But I have to tell you that, every generation of parents swings back and forth, right? From too lenient to too tough to too, whatever I didn't get, I want to provide for my kid, right? It just it happens.
Yeah.
Right now, what we're dealing with is parents that just want to bubble wrap their kids, and they don't want them to ever fall or have symbolically fall, and encounter any pain or uncomfortability or whatever. And
I wish that was life.
I try to coach parents because I've been there, I've seen it. Natural consequences is one of the best teachers in life. But I mean by natural consequence, if a child forgets to take their lunch, and it should be their responsibility, not yours, at a certain age, guess what? They'll be a little hungry. They're not going to die. They're going to be okay. And that's what's going to teach them to remember their lunch the next day.
Yeah, instead of running to school.
If you
"Here,
have to
honey,
get to
here's your-"
school and you're hanging outside the fence to give them their thing, you're taking away a really important learning opportunity for that child. Now, all parents, we do this. I'm guilty of it. We do it because we want the best for our kids. But I ask them to really slow down and start thinking about, like, what should the child be responsible for, and so that on the first day and when they enter school, ask them about their day, but don't ask with a mind that you're trying to fix everything or you want to jump in. It's natural. They're going to have issues with other kids. It's like listening to them, asking them the right questions of, have you thought about how you might manage that or how you're going to deal with it?
You know what? Now that you brought that up, how do you deal with the different ethnicities and the bullying?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a plan?
We do. I mean, we have a bullying policy, and but a lot of bullying is really, if there's a clear definition, and it's really about repetitive, and that does happen, and we have really strict policies and ways to manage that. But it's really there's a lot of just one-offs. That's not bullying, but it's mean,
Yeah.
and just really managing, and that's natural too. Kids, as they come together, that you have a single child in a household that's never had to navigate anything with someone else, and now they're in a class with, that's not easy, right? And so, it's really about that education piece of really, giving kids, walking them through what's appropriate, what's not, giving them the correct options. There's always discipline, but the real thing is how to correct it, because you want it to be better in the future, not just a discipline.
I think for me as a parent, I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, it's just safety.
Yeah.
When it comes down to taking your child to safety. And I'm pretty sure you have protocols for anybody that comes onto the campus that wants to endanger the kids, and that's what makes, the leadership so important for kids. So how can parents, how can you help them maintain good communication with the district and with the teachers?
I'll tell you, what I start with is parents and schools are in a partnership. And by nature, partnership means you have to get to know each other. There has to be a relationship, and relationship comes through talking, through meeting and talking when the opportunities come up. And sometimes those are uncomfortable things. So when something, happens in a classroom, the kid comes home and reports it to the mom or dad, and they want to, and here's what happens more and more today, but that's because of society. But we're trying to counter that, is people want to go straight to the top, right? So like I might get an email from a parent that, this happened in my child's class today, and I want you to fix it. And it's like, I'm sitting in my office at district, I wasn't there, you weren't there as a parent, you should always, there should be a respectful way to deal with people. And these are for adults, lessons for adults too, right?
Right.
You go to the source. So the first thing this parent should contact the teacher. Can we talk? Here's what my child shared. I want to hear about that and how we could work together to solve that. And you talk through it, right? That's the first. And then we have escalation, like, if you're not satisfied after that as a parent, you can go to the principal or the assistant principal and talk about it. But it should always start, and about 95% of issues are solved if people will just go and have the conversation, the respect. And it is uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
When you step into that, like, oh, I want to bring this up, and but when you solve it with the teacher and the parent, not only did they just solve the issue for the kid, but they now have a better relationship moving forward, right? Because they've worked together
it's a
on
trust.
something.
How are you going to trust somebody if you don't communicate?
It's absolute trust, and there has to be a trust there. And so, that's the number one thing I encourage people, is that you have to take the time. But people are so busy today, and society has gotten to this point, like, during the pandemic, where, people aren't happy. They have a bad experience. Instead of telling someone at the restaurant, they go home and they just slam them on social media. It's like, did you have did you give that feedback? Did you have a conversation? So we're countering that, but we have to, because part of being a healthy organization, society is, we are humans have to talk to each other.
I think people find it so much easier to yell
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
to sit and talk.
Or anonymous.
Yeah.
You know, I get anonymous emails. The problem with that is it's just like throwing a grenade in like I can't do
That's a
anything
good
with that because how do I follow up with you? How do I ask more questions? Because yeah, I want to improve everything. I mean, any feedback I get, you know, once I know it, I can't unhear it. I want to
You're not
fix it. I
perfect?
want it to be
You don't know
No,
everything, Dr.
I
David?
know. Don't tell anyone,
Okay,
please.
I won't.
So, you know, I always tell people too, it's like, you know, well, I'm afraid of retribution or all. It's like we don't have anonymous. We're partners,
Yeah.
right? Be part of the problem
And, you know,
the
and you have to
solution.
be willing to approach the situation whether you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
And when I approach something, I got to be ready to be corrected. Maybe I was wrong in the
Absolutely.
situation. Oh, okay, I see. Instead of
Yeah.
going like, hey, you know,
Yeah.
you did this to my kid.
And even if we disagree to people, there's always nuggets that I learn. Or it's not like holistic disagree. It's like, okay, I understand your point. I've walked away learning from it. So it's just so important that we continue to remember that we are in the people business and we have to be
Yes.
partners. And
Well,
so
yeah.
parents need to, you know, just give that time because it's for our kids.
And you're constantly around people of all ages. I so respect you, Dr. David. Okay, so for students, how do you help them to embrace the benefits that you bring for a higher education? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, do you ever have students come up to you and ask you for advice
Oh, yeah.
and things like that? And
Yeah.
so, I mean, what do you do to stand as that inspiration?
Yeah. You know, right now I mean, our kids right now have the greatest opportunity because with technology, the exposure and the ability to find like colleges and higher education institutes of all kinds all over the country. I mean, we used to produce a sheet of where all of our students, you know, went to after graduation. I mean, it might have been 2 pages, which was pretty lengthy, but like over the last 5 years, it's now like 20 pages because kids now have access to, you know, we have software at our high school in the counseling center where they can go on and put like, what's the field they're interested in? How far do they want to live from home? Do they want a big school, a small school? Like a million different variables,
is
and then
so
it just
much.
produces like all these colleges that people have never heard of. But we have great universities and colleges all over the country, not just the few that everyone always mentions.
Does anybody ever leave the country to go to college?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we have
okay.
a lot. We have a lot to.
Yeah, that is.
But we cover the United States. You know, globally, people are going all over. So when I tell people our graduates are truly becoming the leaders of the world in the future, they really are. Our Arcadia High graduates are all over the map, and that's a great thing because listen, if they're going to be in leadership positions, we're in good hands.
Oh my gosh, we are so out of time. It is, you know what a great conversation. I just have to say thank you, Dr. David, and to your staff for giving our kids here in the city of Arcadia an opportunity for the future. And how you organize all of that is just pretty amazing. I know we just touched the surface, so you are going to come back.
I have the best job in the world.
So,
It's my pleasure.
well, you
Encourage
guys are in the
people to follow
football
us.
season right now, right?
We are. So follow us, follow our
Social media.
Yeah, Arcadia
Okay.
Unified School District and find out about all the events going on.
Well, I'll have, if there's any events that Dr. David or the staff gives me, I will put it on arcadiafyi.com so that they can always go to that resource and find out more what's going on in our district. What a great interview. Thank you so much
You're
for
very
being here.
welcome.
And you are
Thanks for the invite.
definitely coming back because there's so much we have to talk about. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors. I do it every show. Longo Toyota and Lexus in El Monte. And again, you got to go by there and check it out. 7 Star Financial with Francine Chu. We didn't even talk about getting our students ready for the financial aspect of education. The Santa Anita Park and the Le Meridian Hotel in Arcadia and Pasadena. Until next time, I'll be waiting for your emails and your Facebook messages. Have a blessed day and make it a great week.